So thank you for having me, and apologies that I couldn't be there in person presenting with you. Um, it's an honor to present. Yes, so today I'm going to present on enabling the transition to net zero. And so what I'd like to emphasize is it really is a transition. We're going to need a lot of different technologies, and we're going to need to use all the different technologies that we have available at our disposal to play to their strengths in the areas that we need to use them. So we're going to need new, innovative, disruptive technologies and to scale them up quickly and deploy them quickly. But also, we need to use the existing commercially available technologies today that are available at scale and deploy those in the short term, because those can have an immediate impact on our net zero targets. So at Johnson Matthey, our vision is for a cleaner and healthier world today and for future generations. Over our 200-year history, we've continually innovated to bring new products and technologies to market, changing and adapting to our market needs and our customer needs. We're recognized as a technology leader with a number 1 or 2 position in our chosen markets. And last year we had sales revenues of £3.9 billion. We're a global player with over 14,000 employees worldwide. At Johnson Matthey, sustainability is at the heart of what we do. And as the effects of climate change become more apparent, urgent action is required to mitigate the worst effects of global warming. And really, it's almost as much about when you do something as about what technology you use. And today, we really need to start making steps towards delivering CO2 reductions, carbon reductions, reduction in greenhouse gas emissions to mitigate the worst effects of greenhouse gas induced global warming. And so our sustainability goals at Johnson Matthey drive us towards delivering our vision of a cleaner, healthier world internally and for our customers. One area particularly close to our heart is syngas. And for those of you not familiar with it, syngas is a mixture of CO, hydrogen, and CO2 predominantly. And we've been involved since the 1960s through our legacy ICI business in the production of ammonia, methanol, and later hydrogen through steam methane reformer. And you can see here, since the 60s and 70s, we invented the first, the low pressure methanol process, which was the basis for the first synthetic methanol 1,000 ton per day plant. And we improved our technology, continually refining it, introducing advanced reforming in the 80s and 90s, introducing a renewable methanol facility using our technology in 2000s, starting up the world's largest SMR-based syngas reformer in the mid-2000s, and then most recently commissioning the world's largest methanol plant in 2020 in China. So you might be thinking, why is this relevant? Well, syngas is a building block for ammonia and methanol, like I said, which are important in this energy transition, but also is the same process used to produce refinery hydrogen. And today we're able to play across the whole hydrogen value chain. We have experience at large scale reforming with carbon capture and storage for blue hydrogen production. That's both in new build LCH technology plants and for retrofit of existing grey hydrogen SMRs. And we also produce PEM components for electrolysis. Elsewhere, our catalysts support the conversion of hydrogen into methanol and ammonia for transportation across different regions. And we also have technology for end-use applications of fuel cells and conversion technologies to create sustainable fuels and feedstocks from hydrogen and CO2. And this is critical, having the whole picture in mind when you think about your decarbonisation solutions and your decarbonisation pathways, because the processes that you have today may be adapted and integrated into a transition for the future. So I want to talk now about our low carbon solutions business. So recently, JM started this low carbon solution business with a focus on decarbonising our existing customers' asset base. Our goal is to reduce the carbon intensity across existing industrial processes and assets for our customers in the refining and chemical industry. We're looking to help them extend their asset life in a world with continually increasing carbon pricing and extra pressure from stakeholders and governments as we see new net zero targets announced. We're here with our low carbon technology to help them make a tangible difference in the short term to meet their goals. We provide complete integrated solutions using third-party partners to deliver full technology solutions, and we also provide services to help you plan your decarbonisation roadmap and help you through your decarbonisation journey in a way that's tailored to you, your needs and your customers. What I'd like to present now is our solution for decarbonising an existing SMR-based hydrogen plant on a refinery. So this is for existing grey hydrogen, which is used for clean fuels production on an existing refinery site. Typically, you have a few options when considering your existing SMR. You can look to retrofit it with carbon capture, shut it down, or replace it with green hydrogen. But this solution here is something we think is particularly inventive in the space of carbon capture. Usually the options available to you on an existing SMR are pre-combustion carbon capture and post-combustion carbon capture. With pre-combustion carbon capture, you're typically limited to a carbon capture rate of between 50 and 60% across the plant. With post-combustion capture, you can get 90% plus and up to 95% potentially, but every percentage you go increases your operating cost. With our solution, we're integrating our advanced performing technologies into your existing SMR flow sheet, working in synergy with it, and using pre-combustion carbon capture, which is enhanced to get 90 or up to 95% of CO2 reduction across your existing flow sheet. And this comes at a fraction of the cost of an existing blue hydrogen plant and at a fraction of the cost minus 30% capex versus post-combustion equivalent. So you can achieve significant CO2 reductions up to 95%, which is comparable to a new build blue hydrogen plant or comparable to a post-combustion application. And you also save hot space versus a post-combustion solution, which is particularly at a premium on existing refinery sites when you're considering a revamp. So, as I mentioned, the key benefits are the low capital expenditure upfront versus a post-combustion solution or versus a new build plant. And this also extends the lifetime of your existing asset, which means you can continue to depreciate it. It's a highly efficient process, so it has a low operational expenditure. The CO2 reduction is up to 95%, which is significant. And that means that you can continue operating as we approach 2050. And it has a limited space requirement, which is really important when you're considering an existing plant which is already congested. Furthermore, this is using technology that's already been well proven at scale that Johnson Matthey is familiar with deploying for decades, and it can be implemented in phase over time so that you can spread your upfront investment in a capital constrained world. Now, with grassroots blue hydrogen, we have our award-winning LCH process. This applies our leading expertise in syngas to tackle energy scale blue hydrogen production for the hydrogen economy. This is one of the most efficient processes for new blue hydrogen capacity, which can then be used to decarbonize other existing industrial processes or for transportation fuels or to decarbonize industrial heating. This uses 9% less natural gas than a conventional SMR and has a much lower capex compared to an SMR-based solution of the same size. It also is able to capture over 98% of the produced CO2, which means that you get a really low carbon intensity hydrogen coming out of the other end. This uses our GHR and ATR technologies in combination to deliver this. This technology is already being commercialized, having been selected for phase 1 of the HyNet project in the northwest of England. As part of this project, they're trialling using this decarbonised blue hydrogen as a fuel and feedstock for the local industry in the area. This project will see up to 80,000 tonnes of hydrogen produced a year, which is equivalent to a world-scale hydrogen plant. And as I mentioned, this will be used to decarbonise existing industries, including glass makers and others in the area. Key advantages of this LCH process: it's highly efficient, it has a low capital expenditure, it's got a low natural gas usage, which means that, especially as we see natural gas prices continue to rise, your operational expenditure will be low, comparable to an SMR that will be producing the same quantity of hydrogen. And it has the lowest amount of CO2 produced per unit of hydrogen, which will be increasingly important as restrictions and definitions on what counts as a low carbon or decarbonized source of hydrogen come into play later. It has an intensified plot plan, which maximizes the amount of hydrogen you get per meter squared of land that you're putting it on. And it's a proven technology at scale using proven CO2 solutions. So use a pre-combustion solution, which is commonly used in the industry today at scale. So in summary, decarbonisation needs are accelerating. It's not slowing down. The trends we've seen after COVID show increasing carbon prices, increasing net zero targets being stated by companies, by governments around the world. And so it's going to be an essential part going forward towards the energy transition. We're here ready to help our customers navigate this complexity, to put in place decarbonisation roadmaps and help them with their plant, specifically tailoring our solutions to the conditions they require to operate in. We've got a legacy in large-scale syngas, which means we're familiar with the technology, we've deployed it before, we have the support and the services in-house to be able to continue helping you operate in the future, and we're well positioned to deliver these low-carbon solutions. And all of this is aligned to our vision for a cleaner, healthier world. So thank you, and I look forward to your questions.